welcome again in another video from GarageAge. Today we are doing this lovely Datsun 280Z that we found near our city. Basically we've been doing shots of this car, and soon we will be doing probably a whole material about it. But basically today this is the first official video tutorial, let's call it that way, because we've been doing this lovely Skyline R32 a few months back. Today I will show you again the basics of my work in Lightroom and Photoshop. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do this piece on the set. I was planning to do this short introduction about light painting, how to use the light how to pass the car with the light and so on, but basically we didn't have enough time that day, so this will happen some other day, probably with another car. Today just a Photoshop part of this work. Very quickly, because I've been doing the same video in Polish on the same set. You probably can find it already on our YouTube, but basically there is so much of talking in it that doing subtitles would kill our third guy, our translator. So that's why I'm doing another photo from the set, but in English, especially for you. And yeah, that's it. So today again mostly Photoshop, mostly things that we can do here, and on some other day we will talk on the set with another strange car. So this is the first shot that I did a few days back. Then the second one was this one. This one is in this Polish tutorial, so slightly different shot. And for you, my English talking and English speaking friends, we have the last one from overall shots of the body of the car, the back portion of the car, the back shot. There are some detailed shots of the car, but basically they are not very interesting in the matter of doing it, so I will leave them basically as they are. I will be doing it later, and today again we will just focus on those shots. So basically what we're gonna do, we will be doing some preparations of those photos in Lightroom. I will copy and paste my preset that I've used for previous shots. As you can see, they are very slightly touched here and there, and today we will leave it alone because one day we will be talking about how I prepare those things in Lightroom before exporting them to Photoshop for the second part of work. But today again just a Photoshop, so very shortly some changes made in Lightroom, but basically not much. So I will copy those settings. I will do the preset and I will paste it on the second shot. Basically I will paste it in the first shot, and then I will select all of them and I will synchronize this preset. I will paste it into the rest of the photos that are selected, basically. So Ctrl+Shift+S, synchronize, and as you can see, all of the settings are pasted into the rest of the photos. And as you can see, there are many shots, 21 shots overall from this particular image, or 21 shots will get into this image. Probably not all of them, but basically there are lots of them usually. And I'm working on RAW files. Some people work on JPEGs after finishing those touches in here. Somehow I prefer to work in RAW because afterwards I still have some more data to work with when I'm getting back from Photoshop to Lightroom for some final touches. So basically that's it, and now we will export it to the Photoshop. I will show you all of those shots, and we'll be going through all of them because I will show you my technique slightly closer. So without further ado, let's jump to Photoshop. It will take a while because I have to export all of those, actually import all of those, export and import all of those photos into a Photoshop. And one tip for you, if you are doing it for the first time, you have two options. When you click right on the photo, you have option like edit in, and you have the basic one, edit in Adobe Photoshop. And if you have many photos selected, then if you will choose this option, it will open all of those files, but in a separate documents in Photoshop. So we'll have 21 or whatever separate images. So this is quite important to use another option, which is open as layers in Photoshop. So all of those photos will be layered in one document in Photoshop, and this is basically what we need to do to work with light painting cars and taking some details from each layer. Basically, if we will do it with the first option, of course, then we can take those photos out of the document and put them into one, but this is time consuming and not very smart, and this is why we will go with open as layers in Photoshop. It will take a while again, so I will turn off for a minute or 10 and we will see each other in Photoshop. Okay, so we are in Photoshop. It took me a while, but basically my laptop is a bit old. Never mind. What we will do first is that we will look for a proper background. Proper background, I mean a photo that will be basically a bottom layer of our cake made out of photos. That will be, we will be adding different parts of different photos into this mix, into this final photo, and I need a proper background. Usually I look for photos that I'm doing those photos with some ambient light, maybe some additional lights, or almost completely dark with some visible elements, because they are great to stack another brighter photos because of the different opacity modes that we'll be changing during this work. We will see it in a second, but basically first I need this nice background layer, and I will go through all of those photos. We will see what do we have in here, and we will look for this background, for this bottom layer. So basically this is the one that I will be probably using for the rooftop and the back of the car, but later this one I will probably use for the bottom half of the bottom part of the car and maybe the wheels. This one maybe similar thing. This one obviously very nice back, very nice lights. Everything in the back is very nicely lit in without the light streaks or things like that. Next one quite similar. I usually do two similar passes to have an options. Then we have a light from beneath the car. Something from it probably will be used to the final shot. Here we have another pass over the car. Yeah, something from this also will be used. This isn't very good. There is too much of me in this shot, and it is a reason. There is a reason for that. I will tell you in a minute. Okay. This might be my background. I'm not quite sure yet, but this is possible. This is also possible, but not necessarily. This one also might be a background, but probably I will use it the other way. This one is also okay. Yeah, I will go with this one. So as you can see, we have everything in the photo mostly dark. We have some light from behind the car facing this forklift. Maybe it's not the greatest overall shot with this very bright forklift, but we will take care of it later. Or maybe in the whole process this happens to be something nice, but we will see. Basically now I'm taking this layer, I will make it green to make it more visible, and I will take it to the top. And now I will go through all of those layers below. I will be dragging them above the background green layer, and I will check which elements of those shots will be good for my final shot. So I'll be just taking the parts of it. And I will start, for example, with this one. The order isn't very important, so we don't have to care about this. I will be going back through all those layers once again when I will finish, so basically we don't have to worry about this right now. We are just looking for the parts that might be quite nice for our overall image. And the first thing we need to do is to decide if this or other photo or parts of this photo of the car are good enough for our image. And basically I can see again with this photo that I love to use this part of the back, maybe the tail lights and overall tail, some elements of it, maybe not all of it, but mostly the top, and we will see what will happen with the rest. And what I will do now, I will change the opacity mode from normal to Lighten, and it doesn't change anything basically, because now, because of our black background, the Lighten mode, opacity mode in this photo is showing only the brightest things, the brighter things, brighter than the dark background that we have on our bottom layer. And basically everything in this shot is brighter than the bottom, and that's why we are seeing mostly everything. But if we will change it, I can see it right now, we can see that with the normal one the forklift, the yellow forklift on the left is slightly darker. When we will change it to the Lighten, the only part from the background, from the bottom layer that is brighter than the layer above is this part of the forklift, those lights on the forklift. When we will turn on the upper layer, you can see that they are appearing on this forklift. So that means that this is the only part brighter from the bottom than the layer above. I will try to explain it to you once again on some less confusing example, but probably in the future. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I will create a mask, and basically again, this is a video tutorial for people who has at least some knowledge, some very basic knowledge of how the Photoshop works, because masks are very basic, but it's hard to maintain them, actually to understand them at the beginning. And again, I hope I will be able to show it to you in the future, explain it to you how they works, but for today you will just know that we will be using them. And I can add a mask to this layer over here. We have this white square over here, maybe not a square, rectangular, and now I can remove things from this particular image with a brush that is black or white. As you can see, we can always change those basic colors over here. So if I will have a black brush as my foreground color, I will be able to remove things from the photo. But if I will change the color to white as a foreground, I will be able to get those elements that I've just removed back to our photo. So very basic, very simple. And I don't want to remove every little part of the photo by hand, by removing all the details that I don't want. So what I will do, I will reverse it. I will reverse this mask into a black one by pressing Ctrl E. And now I removed everything from this mask. And now when everything is removed, I will just use this brush with a white as a foreground color to paint in only the elements that I wanted from this shot that we cannot see right now because it's all dark. When I will turn it off, I can see what I want to take. So I want to take those elements, at least those elements. So now I will just take this brush and I will paint it in. And as you can see, it's getting back to our image. And this is much faster and much more convenient, I believe so at least, than doing it otherwise. So taking all the photo and removing all the parts from it. Now I'm just painting in the elements that I know I want to get back to this shot. And of course it doesn't look very good right now, but trust me, it will look better in a few minutes. Okay, and I must be very careful about those edges because as you can see over here I get too much of it and I need to remove those overlays that are not on the car basically. Sometimes it's too much, so again we have to paint it in back to the image. But basically you have to be very careful and do it quite thorough to get nice results. So I will remove this light around the wheels, around the tires, so here. Okay, it's not very important because the bottom layer, the background, the floor of this warehouse will be taken from other shot, just like the wheels, the tires, but basically just keep it clean. Okay, so this is it from the first shot, from the shot that I will mark as yellow for this example. So this is everything that we need from this shot. We had this and we are just leaving this. So we have those two layers and we can go to another photo. So I will take another photo, I will move it to the top, and as you can see we have something like this. And what I like in this particular shot is the side of the car. Maybe I have seen better one, but for now I will use it. And I like the ground also. Not quite sure if I will use it in a final touch, but for now from this photo I'm just taking things that looks attractive to me, that probably will be in some way useful for the final image. Maybe I will remove them later, but for now I will take what I want. It doesn't sound good, but basically the same operation, mask, reverse it with Ctrl I, and now I am just painting in the elements that I want from this layer that I saw. Okay, so something like this, but without this upper part, so something like this. Okay, this one stays from the previous one, sorry, not like this, exactly. Maybe something over here, not too much because we have this light streak over here and it doesn't look nice on the body of car and in the air. So basically we need to be very careful not to let this kind of light into our shot. Okay, this one goes here. All right. My laptop is, as I told you, a bit laggy today, but that's it for this particular layer. This is it. So this is what we had with this shot, and I've just took the bottom of it, and the rest is from the previous layers, from the layers below this one, so from the yellow one and from the green one. Okay, and now I can go to another shot. So I will take maybe this one. All right, and I have some more details written in the back. So when we will compare it, some elements are a bit nicer, or they are adding some depth to overall image. So basically, again, I will create a mask, I will reverse it, and I will try to paint in some of the details from the back that might be better, or maybe they will add some value to it, but it won't be that much because the first layer of the back was pretty nice. But let's check it. So the one over here is a bit nicer, I think. I like those shadows on the tail lights, but I don't like those light streaks over here. But we can always keep it from the previous shot. So something like this. Of course, we need to make it even. And over here. And exactly the same thing goes here. So like this. I'm doing a straight lines when I am removing those parts of the layers on the mask by pressing Shift. So when I'm pressing Shift and clicking in between two places, I'm getting those straight lines. So this is just a tip for you. More about it in the future, hopefully. And basically this is it. This is all that I wanted from the shot. Maybe something in here. No, the previous one is better. So as you can see, it already looks quite interesting. Maybe not the best, but there are lots of layers to work with. But for now, it already doesn't look bad. Okay, let's go with another layer. So we have something like this, and I need to think, is there anything in this particular shot that adds any kind of value, any kind of depth to this shot that I already have? And to be honest, not really. I don't like the top part because of this white light streak on the roof and on the side. So this is something that I won't use. Maybe I will use just those light streak on the window because they will add some texture, some contrast to this I don't know how it's called, this element on the window, but you will probably know. So basically, again, I will invert the mask and I will paint back in only this element in here, maybe some of it in here, but as you can see, the contrast is slightly different. The blacks in between those bars are getting less black when we will remove it. As you can see, it's changing, so I will do it very close to the edge without getting into the window that we can see. Okay, something like this. I'm not quite sure if this is something that will stay permanently, but for now I can use it. I can mark it as a orange layer. That usually means for me that this is the layer that I'm not removing right now, but I cannot see anything interesting in this layer for now, but I don't want to remove it yet because maybe in the future I will have to get back to it. So for now, let's leave it as like this, and let's go to another layer. So another layer goes to the top. Okay, and what do I have here is this very nice line of the roof that looks brighter. As you can see, it will match with this part over here. So I will turn it to turn the opacity into Litten as previously, and and I will try to remove or actually paint in the things that I need. So again, new mask and invert. Okay, and let's try to paint in those elements. Let's see how it will look. Okay, so basically this is the thing that we don't want, as you already know, so let's remove it. I just want this part of the roof, maybe this part of the pillar without the window because of the reflection in it. Okay, so like this. Here we have another reflection. Okay, so just this. We are removing the inside of the window with this light streak, and we are leaving it like this. Paint in those elements, remove those elements. Probably we'll find some better sooner or later with some different layers. Maybe we'll do it like this for now. Right. And again, as you can see, there is this brighter part because my brush was too big and I want to remove this excess. Okay, over the roof like this, maybe even slightly more into the roof line, right? And now it looks quite fine. As you can see, not much was taken from this layer, but basically it looks nicer. Maybe we will just make it slightly less visible by changing the opacity from 100 to, let's say, 70%, maybe even more. Yeah, 60 will be just fine. And as you can see, it's quite okay. Another layer. We have something like this. And what I want from this layer is probably the ground, probably some elements on the window, and probably some elements of the background in here, but of course they are too bright. We will change the opacity again, but let's try to paint it in. So again, new mask, invert, brush, and let's brush this those elements. Wait, what's happening? No, this isn't. Oh, maybe. As you can see, my my laptop is weirdly laggy today. Like this. Here we do it like this, and we will try to take some of it to make it even. Okay, want to get back those elements over here, of course without the wheel. Okay, like this, and it doesn't look bad. I'm not quite sure about this part. It's from the previous layer. Maybe it's a bit too bright, but we'll take care of it later. But we have some extra light in the back. It's adding some kind of contrast to this shot. I must say it's quite okay. We will leave it for now and we will see what will happen. I just need to remove my shoe over here. So maybe like this. Or we will try to find something else to mask it out. For now this is fine. Another layer. Let's see, what do we have in here? We have something like that. Let's change the opacity to Litten. Let's turn it off and on and see what we can get from this layer. I like to have this part over here, so the light on the ground is a bit more even. That's for sure. And maybe the roofline, or maybe not. Yeah, basically maybe something in the back, but not much from it. Again, mask, invert. Let's paint this in, and let's paint this into the shot. Of course, there's too much of it because of the light, so just those elements. And we will use a mix brush to make it more faded in the overall look. Okay, this, and this is quite fine. So again, not much was added from this layer, but some elements are quite okay. I will just once again use a mixer brush to make it even. Okay, and we can go to another. So another layer goes to the top. And what do we have here? We have, let's see, let's change the opacity mode to little again. So some nice light below the car. And basically that's it. Maybe the light on the front window, but it's too bright, so we can use it once again. We will make a copy by pressing Ctrl and J, so we have the copy of this mask, of this layer and the mask. Well, there is no mask for now, but just the layer. I will create a layer with this one. Again, invert it, and I will take the light from beneath the car. And on the second layer, I will make another mask. I will invert it, and I will take just the light that is on the window. Okay, again, too much of it, so like this. And as I told you, it's much too bright for me, but on the other hand, I don't want to have this deep dark hole in the body of the car, or at least not as black as it is right now, and not as bright as with this layer turned on. So we will change the opacity to something like 35% maybe. Yeah, and it looks okay. Maybe it's still a bit too dark. We'll change the fill, something like this, around 60%, and it looks quite okay. All right, let's go to another layer. What do we have here? Okay, not much, to be honest. And the important thing, as I told you previously, the overall idea of light painting is to lit the light over the subject, basically the car, and because it's a long exposure from 5-10 seconds per shot, you might appear on those shots, especially when you have brighter clothes on yourself. And in this on this set, on that day, I had my bright olive green camo shorts, and they are sometimes appearing. So when you are doing those kind of shots, it's quite good to take rather darker clothes, because they are less reflective. They do not reflect the light as much as the brighter clothes. So this is something to consider, and also to avoid clothes with bright colors like orange, like green, like yellow, because probably they will in some way appear on your shot. So it's good to avoid them. It happens, we have those shadows, we have those ghost elements of the clothes, of the shoes all the time on those shots, but basically we can remove them, or we can create many layers of the same shot, and within this process, we can remove them much more easily when we will be doing this kind of post-processing. So for this particular shot, I don't want nothing from it, so I will just remove it. So goodbye. And I will take another shot and I will see what's in it. Okay, so this one is much better, and as you can see, it's giving me some additional lights, not much of it, but some, especially in here. I'm considering the ground in this shot because it's quite nice, because this one is very bright. Maybe it's not bad, but maybe in the final process I will try to use this ground, this floor, as the main one in this shot. But for now I will just mark it as let's say yellow, and I will name it ground, and maybe I will get back to it. For now I will just turn it into the Litten mode, and I will use some elements of it. So I will paint in those lights over here, of course, without this. So just some lights that are appearing on the car, like this. There's too much. Okay, and for now that's it. Maybe I will get back to it. All right, what do we have here? Something like this. So this is quite similar, but with the shorter shadow on the ground, because I was taking my lamp far above the roof of the car and on the other side of the car. So basically I was trying to get as short shadow as it's possible, and when we'll compare it with this shot, which was quite similar, we can see that this shadow is slightly longer. And why is it? Well, and why it's necessary to have this shorter shadow, I will try to show you when I will see all the layers at the end of this work. But for now, there is not much that I want to take from this shot. Okay. No, there is not much that I want to take from this shot. So maybe just this edge of the, yeah, I like this part. I will show you what I mean. I like to have this. It gives some extra contrast to the overall shape of the car. Of course, it can be too much of it, so like this. Okay, and it's not much, but we are getting some kind of edge into the overall shape of the car. And the hood is in this darker, for now, darker part of the image. So this kind of very thin light on the edge of the hood adds a shape to it. So this is something that I would like to keep. Okay, let's go to another layer. We have one over here. It might be crucial for one thing. Yes, that's what I thought. This is my shot for a lower part of the car, but also for the no, I'm sorry, this is not the layer that I wanted. So this one gives me not much actually. Let's leave it as a orange one. Maybe we'll get back to it. But I have one layer over here, and this is one of those layers that are mostly used for this kind of ambient light that I will show you in a few minutes. But what I would like to have, I don't have nice for now at least, I don't have a nice path that will lead this part of the car, the higher part of the doors. They are a bit dark, and with this shot I can take some of it and make it slightly nicer. What do I mean? I will take it and turn it into a litten, and as you can see, we are getting some details and some information about the color in the in this upper part, and it's nicely litten. It's giving us those colors. Of course, we have this part over here. We don't want it, so we will change it. We will erase it from the overall image by adding just the elements that we want. So basically mask and invert the mask, and we will paint in only those elements in here. In here, this is too much. This is too much, but those elements are quite fine. And if I would like to make it even slightly more brighter, it's not bad. It adds some light into it, and it is enough in my opinion. But if I would think about giving it even a bit more light to it, I can always add some curves to this layer, create a clipping mask for only this layer, and just add some light to it. Of course not like this, but very slightly, especially from the darker parts of the curve, with the curve like this. Okay. Like this. As you can see, it's not much, but it's adding a lot. Maybe we will make it slightly less contrasty. Yeah, and it's fine. We will try to mask out this edge between those layers later, but for now we can leave it like this. This is fine. Yeah, let's keep it. Okay, and basically those are the parts of the car that we've been trying to expose in a proper way with those elements, and as you can see, it looks quite nice. But I have some more additional layers with this kind of ambient light that it's not hitting directly the car, but it's doing some kind of atmosphere to overall shot, not only the car but also the place. And to make it more visible, to make it more attractive, I will probably turn off this layer, because as you can remember, we have this whole ground from this pass in this particular layer, and it's not bad. Probably, maybe it will stay as the final one, but before that I will try to use those other layers and see if they will make this shot look different. I don't know if better, but different. So let's first check them. Let's take them to the top. The first one, and the first one is the one that I was trying to make this counter light to the car, but I was hoping that I am hidden behind the forklift. Unfortunately not, as you can see, but the things that we might take from it, the light that we might take from it, is this part over here, because this rooftop of this hangar is quite interesting in the form, and maybe some light over over here on the forklift. So again, mask, invert, and here I will just paint it in, okay, like this. But here on this part I will take the gradient tool, and I will create this gradient over here. And as you can see, I am not painting it with the brush, but I'm just adding some light into it gradually, because it looks more natural and it's not so hard. And as you can see, it's too much because it starts to appearing in the on the left side. Maybe still it's a bit too much. Okay, so basically with and without, not much, but it adds something to it. The contrast is a bit off, so I will try to fix it again with the curves to this layer. So I will just turn them down a bit, it's too much. Maybe like this. Okay, it's not bad. It's not much again, but those are just some small details that might count in the final shot. For now, I will leave it. Another ambient light shot. I'm calling it ambient light, but I don't even know if it's correct. Okay, and we have something like this, a nice light on the ground, but when we will turn the opacity mode into the litten, we will just lose it. We have some lights on the car, on the body of the car, but the ground is not changing, basically because this light from the previous from this layer is too strong when we compare it with the layer that we just used. So I will try to turn it off, and now you can see that this light is appearing in here because it has a room to show up. And now the question is, as I told you, do I want to leave it? Do I want to use it? Or maybe I will go with this one. It's a bit heavy. It's quite strong. I have nice wheels in this shot, and I have nice body of the car, the bottom part of it. So I can always get back to this layer and just paint back the parts that I don't want. So basically, for now, I will try to remove it like this. Okay. Just give a few seconds to my laptop. Okay. Are you alive? Yes, you are. So very closely around the edges, the wheels. Okay, like this. And we will try to look for some other lights that will look better with this part, because now it doesn't look good. We will have to remove it also. It's in here mostly. Okay, so let's try to remove some light from this layer also. Maybe like this. Not too much. And also this layer. So this, and there is something else in here. Okay, I can see this is the layer above the yellow one. It also has some ground, but my computer is dead. Okay, and as you can see, now the car looks absolutely different. And now the question is, which kind of the floor, the ground, is better for this shot. We didn't use all of the ambient lights so far, so we will check them, and then I will decide which finally which ground, which variation of this ground I want to keep for this shot. So for now, let's leave it like this. We can see that it's not evenly painted in and painted out with some elements, so there will be some things to do still, but for now let's check it. This is, as you can see, some other kind of light from other directions, so maybe it will even out those elements. And as you can see, it's not bad. It's quite interesting. Maybe this will be the answer for this shot. One more ambient light over here. Okay, what do we have here? We have mostly the roof. and some light below the car, but this is quite fine. Okay, we can leave it. And now let's get back to those layers. I would like to slightly remove this light leak over here. I don't like it at all, so I will create the mask and I will try to just dab it once with the brush, and it's gone, it's fine. Okay, and now again the question, do I want to keep it that way with the lights on the dimmer lights on the ground, or do I want to keep it very bright, very strong? To be honest, I like this version better because it's darker, because it's the contrast between the car and between the overall background and foreground of the image is stronger, and I prefer it this way. So I think I will keep it that way. Of course, there are some things to repair because we have those lights over here. We can remove them right away. Okay, like this, and it looks quite fine. Of course, I will have to also remove this part because it doesn't look natural with within this situation. So I believe this is the part exactly. Like this, maybe not beneath the car. We will leave it like this with some light from behind the car, of course. Like this, okay. And the forklift, okay. We will try to make it even. All right. How does it look? It doesn't look bad, but it also doesn't look very good, especially the fact that the contrast of this layer is a bit too off when we compare it to the other elements. Okay, so yeah. This, right? And there are some elements that will change in the overall process, but I don't want to lose too much time to do it in this tutorial. There will be some changes probably because there are some things that I want to clean out on the car. Basically, there are elements in the background and on the body of the car that will be changed, will be removed. The final thing, we can leave it like this for now. You will see the final photo at the end of this video, but the final thing in this part of the process of this putting all the layers together into one photo, the final part is to turn on the lights, of course, if I want to, and if I have a layer with the lights that are turned on in this image. And of course I have those. I have 3 of them. They are different because of the different exposure times, and as you can see, they are brighter or darker. So basically I think this one, the one over here, is too strong, so I will turn it off. This one is quite nice because it lit the inside of the tail lights. It lit those lights on the side of the car, but basically it's not too bright. It doesn't leak like this one, for example. But the stronger one might be used for some additional ambient lights, so I will try to mix them all together. So basically what to do to turn those lights on the final image is just to turn the opacity mode from normal to lit, and as you can see, we can turn them on and off, and it looks quite nice. Basically I would just leave it like this, but I will try to turn this layer also. as a litten, and as you can see, we are getting some additional lights in the background, this nice red overlay in here. I think I will keep it because this is nice, but the lights on the car are too strong. The lights that are falling on the forklift doesn't look quite natural, quite nice, so I will remove them. So basically, again, mask, inverted, and I will just paint in this light on the ground. The question is this the strongest layer isn't even better in the matter of showing those lights on the ground? We can copy this mask over here. Okay, and it looks like this. Can add it a bit more. Okay. Hello, wake up. Yes. No. Okay, so like this, not like this, like this. Okay, now the question is this one better than this one? This very subtle one or this very visible one? And now just up to me to decide, and I must say that I think I will go with this one. It's just some kind of color overlay that it's not distracting, but it adds some kind of color. Of course, you know what I mean, I believe so. So basically this is how it's gonna look. I will remove this layer and yeah, and this is it mostly. I don't want to go into too much detail because this video is already very long, and if you stay till this point, then I would like to say thank you, and I would like to congratulate you that you've been so patient, actually, because there's lots of things happening in this video. So basically we will leave it like this for today. You have the overall look into this process of taking elements from different photos and turning them into one image. Of course, as I told you before, probably some things will change. Those changes won't be very big. So basically we will leave it like this for today. You will see the final photo at the end of this video, and in the future videos I will show you things that I am doing after this part of the process. So I will have some other car, I will put it all together into one image, and then from this part we will go through some additional work in Photoshop and then back to the Lightroom, because there will be things happening to this photo in Lightroom too. But this will be the other video, and also the other video, the video from the set, will show up here in the future. So be patient, and this is it for now. How to put all those images into one, and in the future you will get the rest of the necessary knowledge to do it in a proper way. I don't know, in a way that I do it and I like it, and some of you also like it because you are leaving lots of comments on our GarageAge profile or some messages, and also on my private account on Instagram. So basically I trust that you find those photos at least interesting. So that's it for today. I cannot stop. I don't know how to stop. I'm still talking, so let's do it. Bye.